I guess finding my identity was a little difficult. And there's a whole deer head sitting in the kitchen sink.
Okay.
and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
They get to the front door, and I think they thought that they were going to have the numbers, and we all pile out the fucking house. But that story and them lyrics, they'll take me there every time.
Trying to show somebody that I'm someone to believe in. Y'all was at the parties, I was struggling with my demons. What? And they say something about some revenge. Rolling up this marijuana, light it while I breathe in. I find it hard to carry on.
Peace and blessings. You are tuned in with the Rooted In podcast presented by In the Clouds Media. I am LJ Hippie, the sole proprietor of OPM Vision, the head of the Curtel family, and the head of security for this building. We are putting in that groundwork where it all started. I am here with the last lyricist left, Chaos the Rapper. Chaos the Rapper, man.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Let's
go. Before we get into it, the last lyricist left, the album. What was the motive behind that, or tell us the whole concept behind that for real?
So really, I just wanted to make a conceptual project where it was all real cohesive. It's all boom bap beats. If you really check it out, I just wanted to rap my ass off. You know what I mean? At the time, I just felt like our area was just getting into a different box where everyone wanted to make that slide and shit. Everyone in them West Coast, you know, that new EBK J-Bo type style and shit.
Right.
And I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm from here, but I got a deep-rooted love for, like, real hip-hop, that boom-bap shit. Let me just take it back one project. Let me, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's outside the box, so.
Definitely.
It's real lyricist, real hip-hop shit.
Okay. So that makes me think, what originally sparked your interest, like in just creating that specific type of content that you do?
Well, I've always been influenced by the GOATs, bro. Like, just the old school shit. Like, if I take that one back, like, take that back to, like, Big L. Take that back to the old Biggie, the old Pac albums before it was super overproduced. And, you know, I just wanted a raw sound, like, just influenced by the GOATs and shit, some Slick Rick type shit, some fucking just old Mobb Deep style, just gritty, you know?
Oh, God.
Really, as a West Coast artist, I could say that album, I mean, that project at least, was really influenced probably by a lot of East Coast shit.
I've heard that, right. I can hear that from just the first names that you did name. Do you have any type of ties to the East Coast at all?
Not specifically, just influences.
Gotcha, okay.
Just influences mainly, yeah.
Most definitely. Okay, so let's start with just the roots. So, are you born and raised in Sacramento?
I'm predominantly born and raised in Sacramento. I've lived all over this city, man. South Sac, North Sac, Oak Park, Citrus Heights, Del Paso Heights. I lived all over this city. I'm from Sacramento.
100%.
Like, you know what I mean? Shout
out. Okay, most definitely. So, in this time, like right now, there's a serious demand to pump out some content. You know,
yes, sir.
I want to know, like, how do you feel like the heavy demand of the content, you know, that we have to put out? Like, how do you feel that helps to mold, or how do I say that? Like, being a content creator, you know, that's how we have to express ourselves as an artist. How do you feel like, how do you feel that we have to present ourselves? Do you feel we have to be as consistent, you know, as dropping every day, or do you feel like it's more of just putting something out and hoping to catch that traction and then catapulting from there?
I think nowadays we're really seeing a quality over quantity type deal. I think the algorithm prefers you come with some quality nowadays. I think that microwavable content is it's slowly kind of fading away because everybody's gaining access to the right tools to create some real quality content.
Right.
So if you're just coming out here making some microwavable content, it might start getting swept under the rug. When maybe 5 years ago, I could just sit in my car on my phone, throw the camera on the side door and do my car bar shit or something. But nowadays, I feel like it's more so you got to start investing in yourself, try to get a more quality image and really do it the right way. You know what I mean? I think that's really important. But that being said, as an artist, sometimes it's hard to be a content creator.
Facts.
You do a lot of shit on your own fucking
Right.
man.
Right. Come on.
It starts adding up.
Definitely. So, with that being said, what would you say your ultimate goal is? Like as a lyricist, as one of the last lyricists.
I want to be a legend in my city when this shit's all said and done. That's at the least of it. I want them to be like, yeah, remember fucking Chaos the rapper, like a Sibo, like a Brother Lynch,
Gotcha.
like one of the classics, like the Hollow Tips, like the fucking, you know what I mean?
Right,
Just
the legends for
at the
reals.
end of the day, just be like, if they know me in the city, then I did my thing. And that's what's really important to me. Just as somebody who's proud to be from Sacramento and has pride in this city and is proud of the hip hop scene that we've produced.
100%.
It's it's legendary. So if I could be a staple in that, then I feel like I did my thing.
That's heavy. Okay. So let's unpack it a little bit. When did you start rapping?
Well, when we were kids, like real young, we used to like remix songs and shit and like fuck around and like remix some Ludacris, Move Bitch, Get Out the Way, but just put our own lyrics in it. Or like fucking one time when I was in like 4th grade, we had to, when we did the Explorers shit, I had a assembly where I remixed, remember that INDEPE?
INDE, yeah.
Well, it shit sound cringy as fuck, but I did Henry Hudson. So instead of the INDEPEND, I said it was like HENRYHUD.
Okay, switched it up. Okay.
But that that was early on. But like as I got a little older, probably about the time I was leaving middle school, getting into freshman year and shit, I started trying to write every day. And just trying to become a better rapper that when I rapped, I didn't get laughed at. You know what I mean?
100%, right. No, I'm with you on that.
So that was around freshman year. I just started just digging into that notebook and keeping my head down in it and doing the reps for real.
Mastering the craft.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So in what ways did navigating through those different areas, did that influence your outlook on the city as a whole?
Well, I remember being in high school and just going on YouTube and looking up Sacramento rappers, Sacramento ciphers, and seeing all that shit back in the day, and it kind of set a bar for me. It set the tone for me. It let me know like this is kind of the direction I'm going and shit, and that's kind of where I put myself in, and then I became a local MC myself, and it's cool.
Definitely.
So in my hopes, fucking 10 years from now, there's some kid going down YouTube looking up Sacramento rappers, and he sees, fucking Chaos the rapper, fucking Sacramento Cypher, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
The Freestyle Fridays.
type shit, yeah.
Okay. So after doing a little bit of research, we found out that you spent some time in Michigan.
Yes, sir.
So did stepping outside of California give you a different perspective or just an appreciation for your hometown?
Yeah, so my pops is from back east, Midwest, Michigan. When we were kids, we moved out there for a little bit. It wasn't a crazy amount of time, but I remember the one thing that kind of opened my eyes was when I moved out there, I was like a little ghetto white boy from Sacramento.
Come on.
And it was a bunch of cowboys out there. So they didn't understand like the way I dressed or like shit like that. So it was like, it kind of did open my eyes a little bit, but it was real, where I lived at, it was real rural at least. And it was just a little bit of a different experience. It just kind of opened my eyes and it made me appreciate where I'm from. It didn't stray me away from me. You know what I mean? I knew who I was and where I was from, so
Definitely.
just a little bit of an eye opener on different places like that, at least.
That's heavy. So I've never been to Michigan. If somebody like myself was to go, what do you think I would look forward to or have to look forward to from going out there?
It gets cold.
Gets cold. Oh yeah, I couldn't survive. Yeah, I don't think I could survive. I'm not like that.
It gets cold.
Okay. Yeah. So from just okay, that's heavy. Was it I want so adjusting to like you being rooted in California. Was it difficult to adjust more so, would you say? Or is it more
I feel like it was a little harder to make friends.
right, okay.
Um, like, mind you, I was young. So, like,
How old were you, by the way?
I was probably in like 4th grade.
Gotcha, okay, yeah.
I lived out there a couple different times. The first time, I probably wasn't even in school yet.
Okay.
And I remember one night, this is kind of a culture shock for me.
Okay.
One night, I'm sitting in the living room, I'm playing like a Nintendo 64, and my dad gets home. I think they just went hunting, and I walk in the kitchen, and there's a whole deer head sitting in the kitchen sink.
okay.
and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
But it's a culture shock, you know what I mean? That's normal out there. People go hunting, fucking bring the deer home, skin it, fucking cut the meat up, fucking.
Right.
We don't really got that a lot in the city out here. So there's a lot of fishing to do out there. I'm definitely still rooted in that. As much as I live in the city and love that, I still love to go fishing. I've never been hunting myself, but I'd love to do that. Just things like that. I think I get that rooted from my pops and shit, just from him being out from there in the Midwest and having them roots and shit.
Shout out to Pops.
Yes, sir, for real.
So how would you describe your unique culture and energy in the Sacramento music scene to somebody who hasn't been here? Or how,
I think well, for one, I think the Sacramento music scene is super diversified.
Facts of life.
Just because Sacramento is so diversified.
That's facts.
And
of life.
I think out here it's just kind of like getting where you fit in. Like fucking, you could do rap. We got rock scenes.
Right.
We got grunge scenes. We got country scenes. Like,
Facts. Right.
so at the end of the day, I feel like Sacramento is so ultra diversified. You're gonna find your lane here. Like, you just gotta know where to look.
Right. Got to find your lane. So speaking of you finding your lane, just before we get into that a little bit more, you're the youngest of 8 kids.
I'm the oldest.
So sorry, yeah,
I'm
oldest
the oldest
of 8
of 9.
kids. Oh, no. Okay. Right. Okay. So what was the energy like in the household having that many siblings?
Chaos.
Right. Chaos. Okay. How did you find your space to carve out your identity?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Shout out to Chris Cash behind the camera, man.
Hey, shout out my brother Chris motherfucking Cash.
Man.
You know, I guess finding my identity was a little difficult, especially just moving around so much, and having, that many siblings.
Not right. Wait, 8. You said
So I got 7 brothers and 1 sister. I'm the oldest.
you want to shout their names out?
Shout out okay, look. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to start from the youngest. Angel, Justin, Austin, Jordan, William, Josh, Cameron, Annie. That's my sister at the end.
Annie. Okay.
So I put the boys first because it helps me remember.
Right.
But yeah, I had to use my fingers
It's
and everything.
common to forget.
I
No,
make
it's
sure I
good.
didn't miss nobody.
That's love, though.
Now, don't ask me to name all their birthdays.
Right. Shout out to the fam.
Shout out to the fam, man. My pops fucking held it down. And on some real shit, this is a little deeper than that. He actually adopted me from my biological mom when some shit was going on through the foster systems and everything. And so on some deeper shit, I got even much more of a respect for my pops because he didn't have to do that.
Right.
And he kept me with my siblings, and then our family grew from there. So
Okay, you got a cold story.
on some real shit, Father's Day is coming up, and I got that much of a deeper love for my pops because he's always looked out for me, even though, he didn't have to. So,
That's love.
fathers are real important, especially
Facts.
nowadays with all the chaos going around in the world and shit. Like,
Facts of life. Man. And you're a father as well, too, man. I want to salute
yes, sir. Thank you. Likewise.
So, damn, you got a story, man. What type of music was your pops playing around you, like as you were coming up?
My pops like rap music, you know. He listened to what was on the radio, but as I got older, I started finding out he had the other side to him too. He liked some good country music. He liked some classic rock. He come out the shower singing Freebird and shit. You know what I mean? Like, or that, what's that? That free falling. Like, yeah, but he, you know, like I said, he's from the Midwest and shit. So he got it in the roots of that classic rock. He was born in '70, so back then, you know, fucking Ozzy Osbourne was coming up and fucking Leonard Skinner and shit. They were at the top of their prime, so he got those influences. But when I was a kid, there was a whole lot of rap music. There was E40 and Ludacris and Outkast, and you know, all the big radio hits and shit was always playing around us for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I grew up in Fresno. For those that don't know about the Central Valley, you know, it's super diverse too. So I used to get hip to country, to all kinds of stuff, to pop. So I definitely know that feeling.
Sir.
So most definitely. So you being influenced by rap, doing some history, you had made a trade with the RC car to get your first CD.
Yeah.
It was Eminem's, right?
Yes, sir. So, I was at the receiving home off of Watt. I can't remember what they call that place, but when we was in there, it was really like a barter system.
Gotcha.
All the kids in there, we didn't have shit, but we would all trade amongst each other. And I traded a little RC car for that original Slim Shady LP, that fucking
Marshall Mathers LP.
That Slim Shady one with the pill on the cover. That one was off the fucking hook. Yeah.
Okay, so man, so right, you kind of answered that. I was going to ask, you know, can you share a little bit more about that story and how that trade happened?
That was that, and like I fucking cherished that fucking CD. I memorized it from front to back. I could tell you like what track was what, and, like that I never meant to give you mushrooms, girl. Like,
okay, gotcha. Okay, so you started writing verses around 14 and 15.
I would say that's when I really dug in. Yes,
gotcha.
Sir.
Dug in, okay. And doing some more history, you like to battle kids at school coming up.
Yes, sir.
Got you. So were you naturally competitive, or was that the hip-hop culture at the time just pulling you in?
I think growing up with that many siblings makes you naturally competitive.
I can see that.
Especially that many boys in the house.
I can see that.
So taking that into the schoolyard, you know, I was a hooper. I played basketball.
Okay, right.
I grew up, you know, I grew up in this environment and shit, and it's a competitive environment, and fucking hip-hop's a naturally competitive environment. So,
definitely,
you know, taking all that together, that's just what we did in the schoolyard, you know, 100%. Whether it was hooping, whether we were battle rapping, whether we were just talking shit about each other.
Right,
It was always competitive, so.
And having such a big family, did all your siblings mainly go to the same area where you kind of had the pressures of being big bro and deal with a lot of that? Like,
so there was a lot of age gaps. Me and my brother Cameron, we were kind of closer, so we were always kind of in the same schools up until middle school maybe. Gotcha. But you know, I would always look out where I could, but fucking up until then, yeah, I would say I was always big brother. They get in a fight, they come home talking about, hey, fucking, we're gonna run down here because his big brother, da-da-da.
Yeah, right. Do you have like a wild story though, just involving something that happened with the siblings, or even involving you, and you know you had to tell your fam, and it just
I got a wild story.
You care to open up about it?
Yeah. So we were living in Meadowview at the time, off 29th and Twilight.
10 letter.
And shout out my brother Cameron. He got in a fight with some kid, and he kind of got the better end of that kid, and that kid must have went home and told his family, and next thing you know, there's probably about 10 people running down the block towards our house. They get to the front door, and I think they thought that they were going to have the numbers, and we all pile out the fucking house.
They thought like
like 10, 15 of us.
Right.
And then it was funny, man. And then once I think they seen that the numbers game wasn't adding up, everybody kind of started talking it out. My pops talked it out with their moms, and we all kind of squashed it. But it's a funny story just because it's just like the numbers game speaks a lot when you fucking
100%.
growing up in that type of environment.
Right. Man, that's cold.
Yeah.
So, what specifically shifted in your life at 15 that kind of made you take music serious as more of a necessity as opposed to just like a hobby?
Well, around the time I was in middle school, I met this dude who was probably about 17, and he had a garage, and he had a little recording studio in there, and I used to go over there, and he'd make beats, and so
nice.
I was like the young buck hanging out with the older dudes, and they was actually being able to record and make beats and shit like that. So I'd hang out with them a lot. I kind of got some bad influences though. I ain't gonna lie. Like I started smoking weed, drinking a little bit.
Okay.
You know, as it goes.
Definitely.
But then when I turned about 16 or 17, I got a job in the kitchen.
Okay.
And the head chef there at the time had actually, shout out Spence.
Shout out
The head
Spence.
chef at that time was actually, he rapped back in the day, and he had a studio at his house.
Nice.
So
Okay.
he kind of reached out to me and was like, you know, I heard you rap, like you want to come over and just kind of try to build a song. And I was like, no, for sure. So I come over, we make a song, and then one thing led to another. Like I just kept coming over and getting reps in. I wasn't
getting
even
reps
dropping the
in.
music. We was just building a catalog and getting better at it. And fucking 10 years down the line, you know, that's my big homie, and fucking
That's what's
we
up.
still kick it every day, and like you know, try to get some music in where we can, but fucking he's always been super supportive. He's always he kept a good head on his shoulders, and I kind of looked up to him because, you know, he had the wife, the kid, the home, and I was young and I wanted that. You know what I mean? I wanted to
Definitely.
have a good, you know,
Foundation, solid
you know what I mean?
foundation.
So that was shout out Spence, man, because he kind of kept the ball rolling for me after I got out of that. Yeah.
So Spence is a major influence, and he's like your first producer at the time that
Basically,
you really
yeah.
locked
I'll say that he's like my first engineer.
That's what's up.
That's the big homie, man. Shout out Spencer.
Definitely, man. Shout out.
Quick question, right? Just before we move on, just to kind of go back to that because that story when I heard it about the RC with the Eminem tape was just hilarious. So I just wanted to ask, when you heard, was that like a very different style than what you were listening at the moment? Did that like kind of give you a different perspective on rap?
I fucking fell in love with it, dude. When I got that Slim Shady LP CD, so before that I had a MP3 player with like a few Eminem songs on it, like a Mockingbird or like the big hits, you know, and I love those fucking songs because I related to them, like and I almost, you know, I felt them for real. So when I got that fucking CD, it was my first chance to like really just dive into that project as a whole, and it just felt so fucking relatable, and it was so inquisitive, and it was so just different from everything else that everyone was listening to. Because at that time, fucking Sleepy D was big and D-Lo was big.
Shout out.
This was like back in the day, like, so I was almost in the past with the shit that I was listening to and the shit that I was digging. Everyone else was on that. The Oakland was fucking hot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was
remember.
fucking with that, like the berries and cream and shit. I was. But like realistically, I was digging into that grimy, that old Slim Shady, that was really what was in my heart for real.
Rightfully so.
Just another one too. Being that you were in a household with so many, you know, siblings, did you turn to the music in a way where it was kind of an escape from all the chaos that was going on?
I would definitely say so. Not to like go too deep into anything, but you know, we grew up. It wasn't perfect, you know, growing up with that many kids in the same household, and you know, there's a lot of shit that happens, and not to go too deep into it, but yeah, music was definitely an escape. You could put the headphones on, and you wouldn't have to hear what's going on in the next room, and it was kind of like an escape, definitely. I would say that.
So let's take it to the next step. When did the name Chaos come into the equation?
So I had an original rap name. It was Devilish Thoughts.
Devilish Thoughts.
It was.
Right.
That was like maybe 8th grade. I don't know. And then I went with Utter Chaos.
Utter Chaos.
And
okay.
then my baby mama started making fun of me. We go way back, so she started making fun of me. And every time she said she hears Utter Chaos, she thinks it's some fucking cow udders. And I was like, well, fuck you.
Right.
So I don't know when it happened, but I just cut it off to just Chaos the rapper. And I stuck with it since then.
Nice.
And then kind of like the alter ego, if you will, like the last lyricist left shit, you know.
Right.
That kind of became a little staple for me. I thought it sounded cool. I thought it rolled off the tongue, and
definitely
no one had it. So
definitely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's heavy. How difficult was it to take those deep, personal, isolated thoughts and finally perform them out loud in a room full of strangers? Like even from with the first Freestyle Fridays.
I mean, so a story about the first Freestyle Friday I went to. Before that, I would just like kind of rap in my bedroom. I'd be writing, I'd record a video, put it on Instagram or something. And a buddy of mine who I met through a mutual friend that I go way back with, he told me, he was like, hey, one of my cousins, he's at this little kickback here downtown, and you want to go and just hang out? Right. And shout out fucking Tone and Big Mike.
Shout out Tone and Big Mike.
Freestyle Friday, Big Mike. So I pulled up, and I get there, and I had no idea what was going on, but it's a bunch of fucking rappers outside.
Just walked into it, huh?
And I'm like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, and sure as shit, I go in there. I got the balls to get on the fucking mic. And everyone kind of embraced me, and I just kept on going and going and going. And then here we are now. Like
100%, right. Okay. So you had done quite a bit of some recording as well at the platform that is now known as City Sound Soundbite.
Yes, sir.
Right. Shout out to them.
Shout out City Sound Soundbite, for real.
So what was it about that specific room at City Sound, that the City Sound environment, that gave you the final push to start releasing music? And that was in 2020, right?
So around in 2020, when I used to go to Freestyle Fridays, I didn't have no music out.
Okay.
And Josh Jorin, shout out Josh Jorin.
Shout out Josh Jorin.
Real staple in the community. He would ask me, he said, where can we find your music? And I was like, you can't.
Right. Huh.
So I got tapped in with somebody named Prop, the producer. Okay. And shout out Prop, real Prop. Fucking legend in the city, if you ask around. He used to engineer my first couple songs that I actually had put out. And then from there, I kind of branched out, started working with other artists, other engineers, and then I kind of made City Sound kind of like my homestead for real. After that, that's why I just felt comfortable, and everyone out there would, it felt like a family. It felt like a second family for real. So
I've been seeing you and Chris post some content that comes from there, and that's what made me. I see the vibe too, where it's like, okay, yeah, they got something going. I wouldn't call it the same type of the cliquish thing that we see from SAC, but it's more of still a collective where like it looks like there's a collective going. Like you see different artists, And speaking of Chris Cash, y'all put together an Easy project, right?
Yeah.
Right. Y'all put together a collab, the Easy collab tape.
So that was out, and now it's not out. There was some technical difficulties, if you will, I guess.
Y'all took it down.
We do have a gang music out together that is still out. Unfortunately, we are looking at maybe remastering that project and bringing it back alongside another project that we titled Purgatory.
Purgatory, okay.
So the Easy project was more of a West Coast type theme, real just kind of hyphy on it and shit. Just him really bringing me out of my comfort zone. So that's kind of what we did for each other, realistically. He brought me out of my comfort zone with the West Coast shit, and I've always been like a real storyteller and in-depth and personal artist.
Right.
So he got on me with that. I'm like, hey man, fucking here's this song. Let's tell your story on this same song with me. So we kind of help each other, balance each other out like a little yin and yang, if you will.
All right,
You
that's
know?
necessary, right?
Yes, sir.
So was that project done through BandLab? Because I heard you guys do a lot of work on BandLab. Was that kind of the indicator to make you want to remaster it, or
That was one of the bigger things, especially because at the time it was a while back, and I feel like our craft has kind of grown since then.
It's time to shift.
And I feel like we can kind of, since it did get quote unquote unreleased from the internet, I feel like we could go back, touch it up, spice it up a little bit, and remaster it. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Just because time has passed since then, we could probably,
Right.
you know.
Speaking of time passing, like, how has the like mobile accessibility completely changed the music game for independent artists? Like, what would you say about that?
I feel like accessibility is key, man.
Facts.
Fucking 20 years ago, if you wanted to go record a song, you had to go hunt down a fucking studio.
Right.
And you probably couldn't just fucking Google where's your nearest studio. you
Facts,
might have
right,
had to look
facts.
at a fucking phone book or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Know somebody that knows somebody. So nowadays, these kids, they got unlimited opportunities to fucking do something on their own. They could do something off their phone if they wanted to, you
Facts.
know?
Right.
So I think we're in a state right now where it's gotten oversaturated just because everyone has access to them tools. But that shouldn't discourage you if you have the talent and you have the ambition. Fucking dig into it, bro. Like, you got
Definitely.
everything you need at your fingertips. Like,
Right.
yeah.
In one of your songs, "The Root of All Evil," you rap about your mind being in the gutter, like I'm two different people. How does stepping in the booth allow you to safely channel that alter ego?
I think it just allows you to kind of let everything out, bro. Like, because on your daily routine, you go to work, you go home, you do your thing. Like,
Right.
but there's always something, for me at least, there's always kind of something simmering inside. Like, fuck, man. Like, this is what I really want. Like, and I know, like, sometimes I'll be in a fucked up place in my head.
Man,
I feel like I'm just fucking running, but I'm just hitting the wall. I'm running, but I'm hitting the wall. You know, so it's like my mind is in the gutter, like I'm two different people. Like, sometimes it feels like I'm two different people, bro. I'm the guy that goes to work and takes care of my family and shit, but I'm also the guy that I want to prove myself in this rap shit. Like, I'm hungry for it, and that's fucking Chaos the Rapper, you know. Like,
Definitely.
I want to fucking kill shit, but
Oh God, right. Just from your vibe too, like your presence in a room, it carries an aura, like you've been through something, you know. And you don't wear it on your face like it's like you're a victim, but you can tell, like, okay, from when he talks, from how he carries himself, there's a demeanor, you know. There's things that you can't deny. So that's one thing where, you know, when you walk in the room, the energy is something you can't deny. So that's where it's positive though. As far as even then, you're sending a message. You know how they're saying, you know, body language is still a form. It's still a form of language too. But you don't carry yourself in a negative way. But just how you have your title, you know, Chaos the Rapper. You being through something, it's showing now that you being a father. You know, like you're taking a stand on being able to mold yourself. You know, going through a chaotic background. So just before, did you have any other questions, or did you have any other? Yeah. Chaos the Rapper.
Okay, so just a few to wrap up. In a few of your interviews / podcasts, I seen you mention that you want to help other artists build each other up, almost run like a label and leave all the daily grind, everything behind. What is it so important that you build a table for everybody instead of just you being in the seat yourself?
I feel like it's important just because being the oldest of all my brothers, for example, I feel like when I was at that younger age, if I had somebody that was trying to bring me in and help me out, I feel like I would have been so much more ambitious versus just feeling like you're shooting in the dark.
Right.
If somebody gave you a fucking table to eat at, you could fucking eat, versus you trying to build a table, make the food, buy the ingredients. Like, it's hard. So I feel like a lot of kids nowadays, they get into trouble because they don't have a fucking lane. They don't have a mentor. They don't have someone showing them a way to go just to keep themselves out of fucking trouble. If I could do something like that and just help people out and show them like we could be a team and do this shit together and fucking I think it's important to have community. So that's something that I really believe in, and I think that's something that we're starting to lose sometimes as a society. And I think, you know, everyone's fucking pitted against each other and shit, so I think that's my idea behind that is fucking just wanting to give back and help people that was kind of like me, a little disadvantaged and shit, you know?
That's heavy.
Yeah. So just kind of also building off that, you kind of answered it, but how important is it, I guess, to you to have that almost like a brotherhood in the industry when it's so cutthroat, when everyone's going for each other, trying to fight for the spot? How important do you think that is?
I think it's real important to have somebody you could lean on.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we've seen it time and time again. A lot of artists, even at the fucking top of their prime, motherfuckers don't know what they're going through because they probably can't lean on somebody. So you get rappers ODing and rappers fucking getting killed because they don't got no one to talk to. And, you know, two heads is always better than one, man. No matter how you put it, shit, like.
Facts of life.
When you are going in the studio, is it I want to help you with your bars type of thing, or is it like a healthy competition where you're almost wanting to one up the other person?
So, me and my brother Cash, we gonna always try to one up each other. But that's off of love. That's just off our competitive spirit and shit. But at the end of the day, I'll call him and be like, "Hey, bro, I'm running out of rhymes right here. Can you help me out?" And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like we still have that competitive spirit, but I'm not too ashamed to ask for help. And I'll always provide help. If you know, close them out, don't get fed. But if you do ask me for some fucking help writing something, I've helped people try to write verses and shit too, just off the love and shit. Just, you know what I mean. But
quick question, Chris, aren't you the oldest too?
No, I'm a middle child.
Middle child. I don't know why I thought you were
Only boy.
Gotcha. Okay. Just my final question. Myself, I love lyrics. I mean, to me, bars are like number one to me.
yes, sir.
Why is lyricism to you the most important thing?
That's what always stood out to me. It tells a story. It makes you relate. It makes you feel like when an artist could tell their story and make you feel like they're telling your story, I feel like that's the shit you could listen to for the next 20 years of your life when you're feeling down or when you feel like you just need something that hits home and shit. I think lyrics are the most important part to me just because it's just real life, bro. The beat can't take me there. But that story and them lyrics, they'll take me there every time.
I like that. Right. The brand. So this is your brand that you're wearing, right?
This is a brand that I'm affiliate of.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm a member of Groundwork. I'm a representative of Groundwork.
Shout out to Groundwork.
Shout out Groundwork, man. Shout out Cheat Code, Josh Jordan, Ray Sell, Tula, you know, Miss Vame. Shout out Kuya Flip too.
Kuya Flip, shout out.
You know, we're a conglomerate. All artists just trying to come together and make this shit work. You know, we're all just representing the work. It's just putting that work in, bro. That's what Groundwork's about. It's just really just being outside and doing the things that we need to do.
Got you. The subtitle says where it all started. Is City Soundbite, is that where it all started, or did this kind of come together as more of
I would say yes, CSSB is fucking where it started for sure. I definitely could see that, yeah. But where it all starts, the slogan is the work, the groundwork.
Facts, okay.
That's where everything starts. It's the work you put in. You know what I mean? That's
100%.
where the slogan comes from.
Got you. Yeah, I said that wrong. So it's not where it all started. It's where it all starts.
Yes, sir.
So I like that. No, for sure. Most definitely. So The Last Lyricist Left. The album that's already out or that's on the way.
Yes, sir. That's
The
been
Last
out.
Lyricist Left. Okay,
It's
so
been
the
on all platforms.
all platforms. Got you, most definitely. So where can we find you though? So the last Lyricist Left, as well as any of your old music as well. Where can we find that at?
So it's Chaos the Rapper on all platforms. YouTube is where everything I've done and put out myself, there's a large catalog there.
Okay.
I'm on Spotify with that Last Lyricist Left project, as well as the feature I got with my brother Johnny Rollaway, Flower.
Shout out to Johnny Rollaway.
Shout out Johnny
Roll 'em
Rollaway. And yeah, so Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. But the largest variety of my catalog is on my own YouTube channel, Chaos the Rapper.
Got you.
So yeah, look out for that.
So y'all go get that. The Last Lyricist Left, Chaos the Rapper. The final question, I'll say that right now. So what is Chaos the Rapper rooted in? You know, what is something that you will stand on no matter what point you are at in life?
Hip hop.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I fucking love real hip hop, bro, and I think it'll never die. It'll go through ups and downs and shit, but at the end of the day, I think real hip hop's always gonna fucking be around.
Facts.
No matter if it ain't at the top of the charts or not. I think that the way we tell a story and the way we construct our rhyme patterns and the rhythms, I don't think it'll ever die, man. I think it's an art form that'll stand the test of time for sure.
I agree, man. You definitely know. For those that don't know, there's pillars of hip hop. You know, there's the DJing, MCing, the breaking, and those that don't really speak on it, but there's an underlying one. You know, the knowledge of self. So when it comes to being a lyricist, you know, it's better to live the life that you're rapping about, but it's better to know, you know, the words are ways through which we see the world.
Yes, sir.
So I definitely value that. You know, claiming to be a lyricist is something that you got to stand on, you know, and like the things you're talking about, people are going to want to test it, whether it's positive or negative, you know. But even though your name is Chaos, you really push a positive, narrative, even though you're sharing your story and just being a living testimony. So I definitely can see that, you know, and that's you being able to carry yourself that way, you know, these things you just can't fake. So I definitely feel that genuine aura about that for sure.
Yes, sir. I appreciate
most
you.
Definitely. Well, look, it's been an honor. You know, I'm never too proud to say I'm a fan of somebody, you know, so I've been hearing about you, and I want to say I definitely salute you and just keep it going, you know, just keep putting in that work.
Hey, man, shout out you, LJ, and shout out to the Rooted In series presented by In the Clouds Media, man.
Let's
shout
go.
out Fabian back there on the fucking boards, man, and I appreciate y'all. Much love, man.
Yes, sir. There you have it. We in the clouds. Let's go.
Good
That
shit.
was dope. No, that was dope.
Back to the basics, no time for complacency. Occupy space, no evictions or vacancies. Time ain't go wait. Apply pressure gracefully, soon they'll be thanking me. Can't pull no pranks. Pour righteous teachings and light.